I want to be clear when I say I love Manhattan. Heck, I live in Manhattan. But whenever someone talks about gay New York, it's always Chelsea or Greenwich Village or Hell's Kitchen. But there's so much more to discover, and it's just a short train ride away.
I feel like I understand why people are so excited to flock to New York City. Why it's so cool, it's so rad. There's a plethora of opportunities here. There's no shortage of that. I don't think I have a real opinion of Queens. Queens is one of those boroughs that was like the most undergone for me. Like I haven't been in Queens. I've been at like Diet Queens, which is Ridgewood. There are more POC communities that live in Queens than anything else that I've seen. And that's about the only attractive thing about Queens to me thus far.
If Apollo wasn't busy filling the subway with magical sounds, I would have invited them to join us. Where we're going to meet Vivian Adams at Ricky's Cafe. Whenever anybody thinks of New York City, they think of Manhattan and scenes from Home Alone 2. But that's not the real New York. The real New York is here, outside of Manhattan. Places like this, Jackson Heights, where if you sit quietly and listen, you can hear every language known to mankind spoken. But let's hear from someone who actually lives here.
It's like any place where anyone lives, really. It has its ups and it has its downs. It has its good spots and its rough spots.
Why are we not showing your face right now?
I'm a little paranoid about my family.
Vivian is a rare New York City local who has agreed to show us around as long as we don't show her face. Even in a relatively queer-accepting place like New York City, there's always someone to screw it up. How queer-friendly is Queens?
You give or take a lot of queer friendliness. We got a few gay bars, and you got a few places to eat and dine in. A number of people from the LGBTQ community that live here. So, you know, you make friends and you can hang out at their place.
Vivian is taking us to one of her favorite bars in the neighborhood, Viva La Heights. So we were walking and this guy stops us and says, "You guys are so beautiful, I just want you to know." And he pulls out this blunt and he's like, his eyes are red. And he's like, "You know, I'm not gonna finish this blunt. I want you all to have it, please." And he gives us a blunt. If diners and random drugs being passed around isn't your thing, maybe Astoria is the Queens neighborhood for you. Meet Maddie, an Astoria resident who has invented the Tuck Kit.
I am the co-founder of Unclockable. I invented a product called the Tuck Kit. My father and I started the company like 3 years ago, and we serve non-binary, trans femme, anyone who tucks, drag queens, and basically we exist to reduce dysphoria and increase euphoria.
We're heading to Queen for a taste of gay Astoria. On the way, we were awarded free Jello shot vouchers from their sister bar Icon, which was closed for a party. There's no good way to eat Jello shots. Look at us struggling. After a blurry moment with a Negroni, we start to lose track of our plans. Meanwhile, back in Jackson Heights, Viva La Heights is strangely tense. Security was tight since an event was happening in the back courtyard. It turns out a group of Anita Bryant knockoffs had arrived outside to protest. Luckily, just next door is Friends Tavern, another gay bar with a similar crowd and aesthetic. We put on a tough face, but the protesters had really killed the vibe. So we head to Espresso 77, a queer-friendly coffee shop to lick our wounds. Back in Astoria, we try to find a place to endure our Jello shot haze.
Oh, we're at Diamond Dogs, which is like a really... There are bars in Astoria, and then there's cocktail bars. This is a cocktail bar.
Did you see the sign on the door? No? That's because this place is cool.
Well, Queens has been described as, I think, is defined as the world's most diverse community. In fact, Astoria is the world's most diverse community. Everyone here is like it's multicultural, and I would say that if you have trouble with accepting yourself, then you should try a place like Queens, where people will show you, they'll surprise you with how much they accept you, and that inspires you to accept yourself.
If you like loud cars and loud people and real stories and humanity, Queens is the place to go. Not to mention the food is incredible. Over in Jackson Heights, Vivi and I are still a little down about our bar being protested like it's the 1950s again.
I'm a little worried because it's Jackson Heights. I mean, as with Jackson Heights, so with the world. As a friend of mine put it many years ago, the world is going to wind up in one of two ways. It's either going to wind up like Jackson Heights, or it's going to wind up like Kabul after the Taliban take over.
These people are so convinced that us gays are gonna come and steal their children and like make them wear skirts or something, but we don't give a shit about their children. We just want to have fun, be as queer as we can be, and enjoy life. Then suddenly, as if they were sent from above, my sibling appears to break up the miasma.
My name's Angel. I live in Prospect Lefferts right now. I've been in Brooklyn mostly for like 4 years in New York. I moved here for school, and I'm your sibling.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
After one short stop to clean up the neighborhood, we head to the music box. If there's one thing I can say about the Jackson Heights gay scene is that it's consistent. All the bars are generally the same shape and size with a slight difference in clientele.
The lady that we met, what was her name?
Selma?
Selma. She's Russian, and I think she lives here. She was really interested in me, which was very flattering. She was like thinking that we were interested in like a threesome or like taking her home with some kind of language barrier, and I was like, no, we're siblings. Like, we're siblings. Trying to make that very clear. And she was like, oh, you're so nice. Like, that's so sweet.
After being propositioned for an incestual threesome, we decide, let's try another bar. So we head to the Hombres Lounge, a local leather bar. What it lacked in leather, it made up for in J-Lo and Dua Lipa music videos on blast. Angel used the opportunity to teach us dance moves. They had their work cut out for them. Mom, if you're watching this, Angel and I got home safe, I promise. It was only good, clean fun. There is one more place in Queens that everyone must visit, far beyond the skyscrapers. A bike, a train, a bus, and a long walk will get you to Jacob Riis Beach. Welcome to Jacob Riis Beach, the People's Beach. To my left is the promenade. To my right is the abandoned hospital. Although the signs say 2024, us queers will be back this summer. This beach belongs to us because it's undesirable. It's so far away. The buildings were always so beat up, and you had to bring your own lunch. Its challenges mirrored what we faced in the queer community, and we made it beautiful, magical. If you can find beach access or a secret bench, you can find that same magic. It's still here, as with Queens and all of New York. It remains here for those willing to endure it and make it their own.